Okay, welcome to this webinar on evidence searching using psychology and behavioral science collection on the new EBSCOhost interface. So in this session, we'll demonstrate the use of the PICO framework in searching the PBSC database, a core EBSCOhost database. And on this session, you'll also learn how to create the strategy, apply wildcards, truncation, the use of precision or proximity operators, and set alerts to keep current with the latest research. So I'm Richard Crooks. I work for the EBSCO Customer Training Services team. I'm a senior customer training specialist supporting library services in the UK, Ireland, and the Nordics, and also chartered librarian by profession. I've been spent now almost 14 years or more than 14 years with EBSCO and previously working in various medical librarian related roles in England. So welcome to the session this afternoon. In terms of what we plan to cover, we'll look at the application of PICO for the search strategy, the inclusion of wildcards and truncation, the ability to set alerts, and also what support is available through the EBSCO help system, as it were. So in terms of the actual training objectives, my hope is that by the end of the session, you'll be able to create a search strategy using the PICO framework. And I appreciate for many, this is quite a common framework. You've been using this maybe for years, in fact, but we'll see how this applies to the new interface. Also, you'll be able to apply the wildcards and truncation to search strings to enhance the likelihood of finding the evidence, and also create a search alert to keep current with the literature. So that will inform you of additional content that you may not have unearthed originally when you ran the first iteration, and this will just keep you informed as to new content when it's available through this database. And also, you'll be able to find further help and support information on EBSCOhost databases, certainly of course in relation to the new platform, which is for some already released, for others it's due for release next month. So in terms of this session, we'll just give a brief overview of this database. So just to remind you that you have 315 active full-text journals and magazines available, and also to note that users from subscribing institutions can link to full text from citations within APA PsycInfo from hundreds of full text journals available in PBSC. So if you have APA PsycInfo, it is an abstract index-only database, a bibliographic database, but due to smart linking technology, if you've also got PBSC available, then those full text links will be transferable to APA PsycInfo to the content that's also indexed there as well. So just to give you an idea of some of the key titles that are included, and notice that these are active full text, these are current full text journals with no embargo available through this database. So for example, you've got the International Journal of Mental Health, the Journal of Clinical Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, some more here, Journal of Mental Health, Religion and Culture. Again, active full text, no embargoes. There's no barrier to get into the latest full text because they're available currently. You've got Social Behavioral Personality, Therapy Today, some other examples there. So again, just a sampling of some of the key titles. Also includes Psychology Today, by the way. It's not listed there, but it's also included, as are a number of other full text journals. So we're going to look at PICO or PICO searching. So we're going to go through the process of creating a strategy using a framework. So there are multiple frameworks out there, as you might know already, including PICO, which I've mentioned. But there's also the likes of COCOPOP, which relates to the condition, context, population. You've got Eclipse there. Some of these are more non-clinical related searches. SPICE, SPIDER, for example. So, and these are searches, or these are frameworks that Andrew Booth et al. Have highlighted in the article that you see linked there. So they came up with 38 variants of frameworks that you could use in response to a research question, and it gives you a description of each of those in this document. So again, just to remind you that there are numerous frameworks out there. PICO may not always be the preferred framework or the ideal framework. You may use others as needed. So that being said, we will focus on PICO, or in this case, PICOTS in this instance. So there is a app that's available. So the PICO guided search app that's available through the interface, and that will cover the likes of the population group, the intervention, the comparison, outcome, and time or type of study. So again, these are the common areas that you would expect when you run a PICO search. So the population could be the patient, it could be based on gender, race, could be underlying health condition, for example, as well as age. Intervention, so it could be the treatment, procedure, comparison, maybe compared to alternative treatments, drug therapy, alternative therapies. And then the outcome, what do you anticipate as the outcomes? That could be pain relief, quality of life, prevention of certain conditions, etc. And the time or type of study relates to the time frame. So within a specified time frame, like 6 months, or it could be a type of study, for example, a randomized control trial, clinical trial, and so on. So again, the guided search app features elements, the fields there that you can complete with keyword searching to run a search and construct that query. So we'll look at that during the course of this webinar. So I mentioned also the use of truncation wildcards for this database. So again, these are in keeping with the syntax for EBSCOhost databases in general, so we use CINAHL Medline as well. So truncation, typically for words with multiple endings, so multiple expressions, so bulimia, bulimic, for example, anorexia, anorexic. If you truncate and add the asterisk at the end of the word, then you'll pick up those variations. You can also use truncation between terms if you're looking for cognitive therapy, but that might also include cognitive therapy, behavioral therapy, or cognitive behavior therapy. Then you can insert the asterisk between cognitive and therapy. And then with double quotation marks, you can do exact phrase searching. So if you use anorexia nervosa and you enclose that with double quotation marks, it will find at least one occurrence of the exact phrase. Now, there's a caveat to this, just to remind you that when you are searching for keywords within the interface, it does highlight them separately as well. So you may see anorexia mentioned, unlike seeing nervosa mentioned separately, but anorexia certainly may be highlighted, and that's just standard. It doesn't mean that you will not find an exact phrase, as it were. So there's more information on searching with wildcards on the EBSCO Connect portal, and there's a link there to that document. In addition to that, we can use proximity or precision searching. So these operators that are available for the EBSCOhost platform. So you have near and within. So near is broader because it searches the terms near each other, but regardless of the order that you enter them, and with a specified word range. So using eating N5 disorders, it will find the term eating near 5 words or less of disorders, as well as disorders near 5 words or less of eating. So the number there is literal. Some platforms, for example, may say ADJ4 or 5, and then 5 then will be 4 words or less. Within finds words if they are within a specified word range or less of one another. So it's the order in which you enter your terms. So using family therapy, when you see family W2 therapy, it means the word family within 2 words or less of therapy, but not therapy within 2 words or less of family. Multiple terms can be used on either side of the operator. For example, you can use exercise or physical therapy activity, and for depress or depression. So I've truncated depress there. So that would be depress, depression, depressed, etc., depressive, but that would be either before or after exercise or physical activity. So within 4 words or less, okay, in any order. So again, some examples there. There are more that we can share if needed. So for this example, for this particular search, we have a sample here. We're going to look at a research question for PICO using this question. So in adolescents with eating disorders, how does cognitive behavior therapy, CBT, compare to family-based therapy or FBT in improving eating disorder symptoms? So I've already highlighted the key terms in this search. So I've got adolescents, and they have a particular underlying disorder, eating disorders. And then we look at the particular treatment or intervention, cognitive behavior therapy, compared to family-based therapy, and the goal to improve eating disorder symptoms. So that's our research question and the key terms highlighted. So what we need to do now is translate that into an appropriate search strategy using the PICO framework. So I've got these 3 rows here. The first row, again, just identifies the initial concepts of population, intervention, comparison, and outcome. The second row, the keywords or synonyms that we could be using. So if we look at adolescents with eating disorders, we're looking at eating disorders specifically or generally, anorexia, bulimia, binge eating, and so on. For the age group, adolescents, young people, teenagers, youth as well could be important. For cognitive behavioral therapy, it could be CBT, it could be cognitive therapy, as I mentioned in the beginning. And likewise, with family-based therapy, it could also be known as FBT, or could be family therapy, for example. And there's no search term that we're going to look at in terms of the outcome as such. So the third row there in uppercase are the appropriate subject headings. So eating disorders is a common term, anorexia nervosa, of course, bulimia, etc. We've got binge eating also there. Cognitive therapy, cognitive psychology is another alternative subject term. And then with comparison, we could use ecological family therapy or just family psychotherapy. These, again, terms that we may identify as we begin to run our search. So with that in view and that example, we're going to run a demonstration on the live site on the interface. So I'm now going to switch screens here and jump to my desktop, and then you'll see the PBSC database detailed there. So as we look at PICO, we'll start off with the initial element, the population group, and that is adolescents with eating disorders. So to begin with, we'll start with adolescents, and I will truncate here. So that will find adolescent or adolescents, etc. I will also add teens. Okay, so that could be teens, teenager, teenagers, etc. Teenage, and then youth. Okay, or young person. So again, young, double quotation marks, exact phrase searching, or young people. Okay, so again, I'm just going to add it in this fashion for now. And I'm also going to apply the title or abstract search. So for that, I'm going to select the drop down and choose TI, so TI or AB, so XB here. That's the field code search. So this will search within those fields if any of those terms are in either of those fields within records available through this database. So we'll click search here. And once I've done that, in a moment, you should see on screen the search history. So at the moment it's collapsed, the results are below. But if I click on this little arrow below the search boxes, you'll see it opens up the search history. So we've got this displayed. This is a feature which is enabled in EBSCO Experience Manager. It needs to be enabled for you to see that if you've not already done that, and we can provide instructions on this. But key thing here, we've got the set number S1, we've got the search string with the syntax, the field code, the truncation, etc., the Boolean operator OR. We've got the search options that are currently selected. So the search mode is proximity, apply subject is the expander. We have the results displayed. Notice the hyperlink, which means that you, at any one time when viewing the search history, you can click on the results and view that result set without incurring another set in the search history. The database is shown, so you can see clearly we're searching this database, not SYN or Medline. We've got the save ribbon. If you want to save this search string, maybe you start it, get interrupted, maybe go for a break. So you can save this search string. And if you go to the save folder on the left-hand dashboard, you'll see under the searches tab, that is now saved here. Okay, so just to let you know, that's where it's saved to. And then we also have the tools menu, which gives you the option to edit the search details. If you want to add other terms or correct any typos, add to the project is meaning you're saving it to a custom folder, and then delete means literally you'll remove that from the search history. So that's the first step, and we're looking at the equivalent subject term now. So for that, we're going to go to the subject's authority or click new search. We can do this either way, and then go to the subjects tab, and then we can browse the source for the particular age group. So for example, in this instance, I'm going to go for teenage and then search here, and you'll see we've got various elements of teenage here. So what I can do is select one of these. So I can scroll down and see if there's any others that may be of more relevance. I can select on teenage mothers, for example. I can select this term, but also I can select broader terms like teenage parents, and then maybe others here that I can also factor in as well. Okay, so again, I can add those to the search above. But as you can appreciate, we might also have other terms like adolescents. So again, I'm going to run a search here for adolescent, and then search for that term here. So I'm going to do the term begins with, and then you can see adolescent abuse victims, etc., adolescents, and so on. So teenage boys, adolescents there, or adolescent development. I'm going to go for this one for now. I can select adolescent development. When I select that, it also includes these narrow terms and the related term adolescents as well. So I can add all these terms, add that to the search. I can change this to OR to group them together, and then I can just click search here. Okay. So what I can do here, I can combine the two sets. So the initial title abstract search with the subject search, use the Boolean OR, and I can click search here and group those together. So we've got 86,000 results altogether. Now, of course, this particular age group, if you like, population group, have eating disorders in this context. So we need a search now for those elements. So we'll start searching for the phrase or search for eating N2 disorder. And I will also add the truncation here. So that's disordered eating or eating disorders. So again, near 2 words or less of each other. I'll add anorexia and make that anorexic or anorexia or anorexic. Likewise with bulimia, I truncate that too for bulimic bulimia. I will also add purging or binge. That's binge drinking, eating. Okay, so binging or binge, and then or purge. Okay, or vomiting, or I think that's it actually. Yeah, that's it for now. Okay, so again, I'm doing a title abstract search. Select from the drop down, choose. Let's see, where is it? No, there it is. And then search. So now it's the keyword search related to eating disorders. And then, of course, we're going to run the equivalent search for eating disorders. So I'm just going to, if that's complete, and they'll appear in the search history as it does S4, set 4 there. So now I'll go back to new search, go to subjects, and then we'll add eating disorders or browse for the source for this. Eating disorders, click search, and then you can see the term there. Click on that term, and you see the main term. If I select this one, it also selects the narrow terms, including anorexia, binge eating disorder, bulimia, and so on. If there's any other terms, we can include them as well. Otherwise, if we're satisfied with that, I'll put appetite disorders as well, which is broader. Add to search, click search, and then that will then display that result set in the search history, which means that we can then combine them. So what we can do here is combine S4, again, the title of search with the subject search, S5, and then combine with OR, and then search. So with that in view, we then need to combine the two sets because also we're looking at a particular patient group, population group of adolescents who have eating disorders. So we want to group this together. So what we'll do here is select S3, combine with S6, and then use the Boolean AND. So combine with AND, and then search. So that would complete the first element of PICO related to the population group. So we should see that in a minute appearing on screen. Again, if you have any questions or comments on this approach or any of the elements that you see in the new interface, please feel free to share that in the Teams chat. I'll click ID now just to resort this. So you can see how we start off with the sets about adolescents, the sets on eating disorders, and then we combine them together S7. Okay. Now, next, what we can do is look at cognitive therapy. That is the intervention. So again, we'll follow a similar procedure. So what we'll do is here. So we can add, let's see, cognitive asterisk therapy. Okay, so that's cognitive therapy or cognitive behavioral therapy or cognitive behavior therapy or CBT. Okay, and then we can add, again, the field code or select the field code and click search here. So we scroll down, you should see that in a moment appearing as set 8 or line 8 there as it is. And then what we'll do is find the equivalent subject term, click new search, go to subjects and add cognitive therapy and search. And you see we've got cognitive therapy here. If we click on that term, you'll see it gives us the scope note, what this is about, what it's used for. So it's used for cognitive behavioral therapy, etc., and behavioral therapy. So we know we're on the right track in using this term. We can select it, and when the explode option is on, it also includes the narrow terms, including cognitive restructuring therapy, cognitive analytic therapy, and so on. And we can include the related term, cognitive psychology, if we wish, and jump to the top of the screen, add to search, and you'll see all those index terms, subject terms from this database included. So in other words, we retrieve articles that have been assigned any of those subject headings. Notice each one is prefixed by DE, that means descriptor, so it means it's an exact heading used to classify or to index content in psychology and behavioral science collection. Okay, so it's assigned to articles about that treatment. So I click search here. And then, as you might expect, we'll group them together in the search history. So we'll go for S8, which is the title of search for cognitive therapy and related terms, and then S9, the equivalent subject search combined with OR. So we have S9, S8 or S9 in the search box above, and then click search to combine them together. And then, of course, we want to look at the comparisons. That's the intervention there. So far we've done the search for the population group, patient group. Then we've done the intervention, cognitive therapy, and related terms, and now we're looking at family therapy. So for this, it could be rendered in different ways. So we're going to put in family asterisk therapies. So it could be family-based therapy, or FBT, or it could be family-based counseling as well. So put family asterisk counseling, and we'll truncate that to the counselor, counseling, etc. Okay. So, or it could be, we add this one as well, family psychotherapy. So family psychotherapy. So again, these are alternative expressions or similar expressions, synonyms, etc. for this comparison. And then choose the title search, run the search here. And again, I'll show you if you need to make any changes, if you spot any errors or typos, then we can quite easily correct them in the search history, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. So now we've got the equivalent term, that's the title object search, and the next search we'll do, of course, is the equivalent subject search. So I'll do that now, go to subjects, and then put family-based therapy or family therapy, family-based therapy, it's family therapy in here. So I'll put family therapy, click search. Okay. And you see for family therapy, we should be using family psychotherapy. So just choose that. Again, the scope notes there, what it's used for. So family group therapy, family therapy. We can set the main term. When the exploder's on, it includes the other elements as well. Okay. And you've got family therapists also could be of interest here. So we'll retrieve articles index for that term too. Go to the top, click add to search, and search. So we're now going to retrieve articles indexed with any of those subject headings related to family therapy or family psychotherapy, etc. So now, again, we'll combine the two terms together in the search history, S11, S12, and combine with OR. So it's either OR and then search here. Okay, so we've got those sets now, and let's see, is there anything else we need to search for? I don't believe we do. So all we need to do now is combine those sets. Now, as you can see from the search history, it's now 13 lines. It gives you the reverse sequence, 13, S13, 12, etc. If you want to see the sequence, just click the ID link above, and then you'll see the sequence S1, 2, 3, so on. Okay, and you can see the most recent search here. So what we'll do, combine those elements. So the first element relates to the adolescents with eating disorders, which is S7. Then we've got cognitive therapy, related terms, S10, and then we'll combine that as a comparison with family therapy, etc. for S13. So we've got three sets selected, and we choose the Boolean and, so results must feature each of those elements to make them relevant to answer that research question. So now I've done that, I'll click search. And then you should see below the final set. Right, so we've got 37 references here. I forget what I've had before. I've had probably a bit more. Oh, not about 3 more than I had before. Now, of course, this could be the first iteration. We can make changes to this, but I wanted to point out a couple of things in the search history. So for now, if you want to make changes to this, if you spot errors, want to add other terms, then, for example, you could add, if we go to S8, go to the tools menu, click edit search, then go to edit search, and then you could just edit the search string. So if you feel like something else should be included, so for example, I can add or, as that's that phrase, cognitive psychology. Cognitive psychology. Okay. Or it could be some psychology. So I add that truncation there. And then update the search. Click continue. Close that down. And then you'll see that entry has been updated. Okay. There. Okay. It hasn't impacted the search, although we've changed this. It does, rerun as it were, but it hasn't impacted our search results. We've still got 37 records there. But it shows you how you can edit the search string. You can also edit combined queries, for example, S7. And I did this the other day. If I made a mistake regarding the combined query, go into edit the search, and it will give you the option to change and to or if you like. And then below that, it will show you also the dependent searches, the two sets there. Okay, so you can update a combined query from this page. So again, this is a relatively new feature for the interface, this new interface. Now, of course, if you want to jump to view the results from a specific result set, for example, S11, then you can literally click on that link, which is the results number, 3667. So just click on it and it will direct you to that result set in the page below. So it will show those results below. And you see that display below. Now, one thing it doesn't do is add another result set. So this is quite useful to know. So although you can click on any one of these result sets to view those figures, view those references according to those figures, they will display in the result below, but there's no danger of adding a further result set. So we're on S14, it's still on S14, which is those 37 references, but it means you can jump between search sets and view that content. Now, for now, I'm going to just resort the ID there. So we're going to focus on those 37 records. Okay. So again, you got the results stored there. And just to point out, of course, you've got the results below, as you see. And if you want to filter, you can go a step further by filtering. So for example, you can go to the publication dates and you can go for like the past 12 months, 5 years, etc., or the past 10 years. Choose 10 years here. And you see, sorry, I was doing the wrong set there, I think. Yeah, so just to let you know, you can actually remove a set here. So basically, I was looking at S. Let's see, this one was family-based therapy. So I was looking at S11, so it's filtered according to this set that I was looking at. So what I can do is just go into the tools menu and delete that search here. Okay, click delete and go back to my results set, which there's 37 records. And then what I can do here is just limit it further. So for example, all dates, past 10 years, and a resort. Okay, so we've got 20 records now that have been published since 2016, as it were, and you can see those below as well. Okay, so again, some options there, and you can see the filter is recorded in the search history. So if you want to record this search history, it's very straightforward. You can either select all and save with the save ribbon. It will be saved to the save folder on the left-hand column under the searches tab. The defaults, so yeah, you can see the set numbers there. Okay, so it's now displayed there. And from this page, you can also add it to a project. So a project is a custom folder that you can create. So I'll talk more about that in a moment. We go back to the search results again. In addition to saving the results set, click ID again, you can also select add to project here as well. Okay, so sorry, let me download here, download. So you can download the search, a choice of formats. So I go for Word, for example, click download. you'll see the formatting for the downloaded search history. So I'm just going to save this and open it up, and then you can see that clearly once that's shared on screen. So I'm just going to drag this across, and you can see the Word format for saving this search, for downloading it. Okay, so it gives you the combined, so it gives you the search queries, and also when you combine them, it does give you the set numbers, but also the corresponding information for each set as well. And it details, of course, the hit count, the database we're using, and the interface as well. So again, with a Word document, you can edit that, you can cut and paste it as needed. That's available from this page. There's also CSV as well, if you want to download a spreadsheet of this, or a table of the search, which you can then edit in Excel. So again, other formats are available. Okay, so you can download the search history. Also, we can save directly to the project. So I can add to project here. Then it prompts me to sign into my EBSCO account. So the sign into the EBSCO personal user account is needed if you want to save items, including searches beyond the session, also create projects, and also set up alerts, and also export documentation from the result list as well. So I'll just sign in here as myself. Okay, unfortunately it's timed out on my VPN, so I have to go through this again. I'll edit this out, by the way, so bear with me. Okay. Okay, so that's now signing in, and we should be taken now to this page, which allows me to either select a project I created previously, or go to a new one. I can set a new one here. So for example, I can put teenagers and eating disorders. Okay, I can add a due date if it's something I'm supporting and it needs to be completed by a certain deadline. Say, for example, the 1st of July. I can add free text here if it's for a certain person, or anything that I need to remember at this time for the search. Create that. And then if you go to projects, you'll find the project there. Okay, and if I select this, go to searches, you'll see the searches stored here. Okay, so you can still select unsave if you need to, or add to a project there. You can also delete from this menu as well. Now, in addition to that, you might want to use the project to save items from the search results. So if you scroll down, I can hide the search history, by the way, clicking the link above, and then I can go through this list. So I can select these, and I can download or select up to 50 to save, or I can select add to project, go to the project I just created, and then save them automatically to the project folder. So if I go there now, back to projects on the left-hand column, you'll see with this project, I've not only the search now saved, not only the search saved, but I've also got the records, and they'll be displayed below, as you see there. Okay. So again, you can download this list if you wanted to. You've got a choice of formats, including Word, CSV, etc., XML. You can save these again, or add to project. They're already in the project, but you can also export them directly as well. So if you're creating a bibliography, you want to export them into EndNote, RefWorks, then you have options to do that here. Okay, and then you can delete if you need to. So if you go through this list and you find there are some that are no longer needed or won't be useful, you can go in, for example, select these set numbers or these article numbers, and then go into delete. You'll be asked to confirm if you want to do this, and if you go ahead with it, you'll remove those 2 articles from that list. Okay, so going back to projects here, just to add here, while we're on this page, I will mention this at the end of the session as well. It says get report. So what does that do? So basically it means as you're transitioning from EBSCO's Classic to the new interface, so you may be using PBSC, certainly if you work within NHS England, you'll be using PBSC on the Classic interface. So you have folder content there, Classic folder, custom folders, where you stored searches, articles, etc. That will not migrate in the transition period. So that will be next month. So in order to mitigate against that, one of the options you have is to get a report and download a report of what you have in those custom folders. Okay, so again, it's synced with your EBSCO account, and then that button will typically change. It won't do because I don't have any through the site, but it will change the download report. You can download a list, an Excel list, if you like, of that documentation that you have within those folders. Okay, so that's the reason for the get report option there. And by the way, when you're on projects, you can go to projects initially, and you can click the plus sign to create a project up front. So it's already created if you need to do that. Okay, so let's move on a bit here. Just try and keep an eye on the time. So again, any questions, comments, feedback would be useful. Any features you're not so clear about you want to see, please let me know in the Teams chat. So we've got, again, the results below. And again, if you want to save any of these, you can do so. You've got the save ribbon, by the way, the option to save up to 50. That's going to change to 500 in due course. Okay, so you can see select 1 to 50, and you can save those into your save folder if you need to, or you can download them again. And also you can share via the share icon there. So in Google Drive, OneDrive, or if preferred, you have the email option. And with the email option, you have a choice of display. The brief citation is the preferred display in this instance, but it can be changed to the detailed citation, which features numerous fields that you can check or uncheck, as it were, before sending. And then finally, we do have the Chrome citation for style, or sorry, the citation style, which in this case is Harvard, but you can change it to another version like Vancouver. And you can, of course, include the abstract. So just some choices when you're sharing content via email, whether it's the brief citation, a detailed citation with various fields to select or deselect, or whether you want to just send it in the preferred citation with the abstract included. So again, those tools. And there's also tools, a cite tool there, by the way, which allows you to copy the citation in your preferred format, using the copy all to clipboard function. So you've got 20 references. I can copy them all to the clipboard, and they'll both be displayed in Harvard referencing. Of course, if I change it to Chicago, then obviously that will be the preferred format. You can also export the citations as well, again, to in RISC format or RefWorks, EndNote, etc. So again, you have those options from this list. And for each of the records, those menus are also there. The option to add to a project, to share, to download, also featured in the tools menu where applicable. Okay, so that's the initial saving. Now I mentioned the alerts, and you maybe want to be alerted to the new search or to a future search of these same terms. So to do that, go to the tools menu above the result list. You can save the search here, by the way, just to show this quickly, and then you just overwrite the search title, which is the query string. I'll put teenagers and eating disorders. Okay, again, I can save this. Okay, and that's saved in your save folder, by the way, on the left-hand column under my dashboard. So again, that's changing. I'll mention that about toward the end of the session. So we just saved the search. Now you've got the other options to create the alert. So the alert is simply a way of being informing of new content related to the search string that you created on a periodic basis. So again, you can change the alert name. So just default to what we call the search itself. And eating disorders. You add some free text. And then the frequency. By default, it's daily. It can be weekly or monthly. So again, you determine how often you want to receive the alerts in your inbox, so it will inform you that this search is run and provide you with a list of results. And then this will be set up for at least 1 year. And then you can create the alert. Now to view those, click close, go to the alerts feature under my dashboard, and you'll see under searches, search alerts, you'll see we've got this one here. Okay. So again, you can go in and edit the alert if you want to change the frequency to say monthly, for example, or if you want to extend the alert, you can do so. So by default, each alert is valid for 1 year, but it can be extended. And then save the changes. Okay, so just going to save those changes and then close. And if we go, you'll see now we've got the search alert here, teenagers and eating disorders. Okay, there is another, there's options there, of course, to edit the alert, view results, delete as well if you need to delete that. There's also another alert system that relates to publications. If you go to the Publications Authority under the Research Tools area, this will take you to this page and to the Publications tab, and you can search for a publication. So if you go, for example, for Psychology Today and search, you'll see it's a full text journal. Click on the title link. This will give you the issues that are available, etc. So if you click through to any one of these, it will be appear in the result list. But importantly, we have the tools menu, so you can search within it as well, but also the option to create the alert for this title. So again, this may be for yourself, it could be for a psychologist, for example, and then you have the options there below. And then if you enter your email address here, and then click create alert, then you'll see the alert has been created. Go to the alerts area, and then you'll see that in the tab appropriately. So we have Psychology Today, we're following this journal. There's no apparent limit to this. So again, if there are other journals, other publications you want to follow, and basically you'll be emailed the latest content when that publication is available. So when that issue is published, you'll be notified by email that there's new content. Okay, so just a way of keeping up to date with the literature without you having to go back and forth into the interface. And again, the search alert is also here. Okay. So we do have an online help menu system available. So even if you do click new search and go back to the original homepage, that help menu is available on the left-hand column. And you can see it's quite comprehensive from things like basic search, advanced search, applying filters, searching with Boolean operators, searching with wildcards. Again, there's more information on here about those features. So again, you can go to any one of these and view that content. Okay. So again, let's go for saving articles to Microsoft OneDrive. Again, there's instructions on that as needed as well. Okay, so that's the help menu. Okay, so let me now go back to my PowerPoint and share from here. So we had the live demonstration. A reminder of the search that we generated. So again, you see the key terms highlighted here, the result sets until we end up with one group of results within the search history, having combined those terms, the combination of title object searching combined with the appropriate subject terms. Once you're there and you check an article that you think this is definitely what we're looking for, so family therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy for eating disorders in children. So this is really along the lines that we're looking for. Then you go in, explore, check the abstract. If you have full text available, you can read the full text document to identify key terms and see are there others that you might be able to find. Okay, so again, be mindful of that as well. So you can check those out as and when necessary. So what I also just jump back quickly here to the desktop because I want to highlight a feature here more like this. And this particular article, item 2 here, and you see here we've got access options. It gives us the PDF online full text. So one thing to note with the PDF now, if you click on that PDF link, it will give you access within the platform to the text-to-speech software. You can listen to this being read or download the MP3 for offline listening. You also have the publication contents. You can browse through other articles on the same journal issue, and you have the standard tools and also the ability to print here as well. Okay, so just some pointers there. And also we have the, if we go back a step, the cited by count also given on screen. So it gives you indications of popularity or relevance of this article has been cited by 72 other articles, and you can see which ones are in this database, which ones are full text as well. Okay, and you can sort them as well, including the most recent publication. And finally, on this page, just to show you this one, more like this is a recommendations feature, which presents you with up to 5 references that are related to this topic. So there's only 3 in this instance based on the metadata that we have in relation to this topic, this query. So I'm going to go back to my desktop here and stop sharing and just conclude here with the training support that is available for this. And then just to say that we have got these links included in the PowerPoint for your reference. So the PICO search, of course, searching with wildcards, of course, and also just to inform you, in terms of the migration, be mindful of this. If you have searches that need to be migrated, that need to be transferred, they need to be moved to the My folder, the standard default folder in My EBSCO, and cannot remain in the custom folder. So if you have searches saved in the custom folder, they should be moved to My folder. In addition to that, when they are migrated, only the final query set is migrated to the new interface. So if you want the complete search query, then you'll need to go into the classic EBSCO folder and copy the searches. Okay, likewise, if you want to share articles from the custom folder, you need to go to the custom folder and share, email, or export those particular articles beforehand. So both those videos shown here cover the matter of saving or exporting items in the first instance, and the second one touches on the matter of moving saved searches from custom folders to My folder on classic EBSCOhost. But it also means that you need to copy the search history. So download the search, print the search history, or copy and paste it into a Word document, etc. Okay, so I recommend consulting those videos and also the subsequent pages here as well in terms of accessing My EBSCO data. Again, I touched on that with the Get Report feature within the projects folder, and then also downloading the data through the projects folder there. Okay, so more information is on the EBSCO Healthcare Training Resources portal. So that includes upcoming training sessions. So we're running out more advanced sessions on different databases as customers migrate to the new interface. So from July onwards, mid-July onwards, then everyone should be over on the new platform. And EBSCO Connect courses is still the main support portal, connect.ebsco.com, with tutorials, etc. For those who work in the NHS, then please log any cases, issues, tickets with the NHS service desk, and they will escalate to EBSCO as needed. Okay, so if you want more information on the platform, we have the EBSCO product roadmaps. You can click through to that. So that's ebsco.com/roadmaps. And you can go to the Research Solutions page. You can filter by product, so EBSCOhost in this instance, and view what's coming up soon for the interface in terms of enhancements, and also check the period when they're like to be enhanced, so the month, and also the categories included. And then also just to let you know, navigation is changing. So we saw navigation on the left-hand panel, that's moving to the top of the screen from early July in light of the migration as well. So again, that's going to change. You may want to check this page beforehand to check that out, what that looks like now. But that all is based on user feedback and also with the intention to enhance, for future enhancements of the interface. Okay, thank you for watching, and I hope that's been informative. By all means, contact me at rcooks@ebsco.com or visit connect.ebsco.com and check the support materials there. Okay, thank you very much.